Hi everyone, Chaz916 here. Today we are going to explore a new UA from 1D&D. So, let's look at the Paladin and the Oath of Devotion subclass, and all of the changes to them and to the rules. Lots of interesting stuff here. Opinions, questions, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. If you enjoy any of my content, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Spoiler alert. Number 1. The Necromancer Wizard will be in the playtest later this year. Number 2. They are beefing up high CR monsters in the monster manual because of the changes to epic boons. Okay, so let's begin there. Let's begin with those changes. Okay, number 1. All boons will now include a +1 ability score increase. And that's going to be added to all of the epic boons. Number 2. They are introducing a new boon. And basically this boon increases your ability scores by a +2. In addition, epic boons can now increase your ability scores above 20. That's right, folks. You can now have ability scores above 20. Are you feeling it? I'm feeling the epic. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk the Paladin. New options for Divine Smite. You can now Smite Punch. That's Jeremy's words. I would not. Okay. You can now smite in an unarmed attack or a ranged attack. Basically, we're getting more options, just so you know. However, there is a cost for it. We can only smite once per turn. And you can't smite and smite spell in the same turn. Kind of confusing. However, smite spells can now be cast as a bonus action. So you're getting a couple of bonuses for a cost. More options for laying on of the hands. At higher levels, you now spend your 5 points just like you did before, but you get to heal one of a whole list of conditions. Changes to Channel Divinity. First off, a big one. We are now going to get more uses of it. That's something people have been wishing for a while. Okay, other changes include things like at 9th level, you get an Add Your Foe's ability, which basically allows you to fill opponents with your Divine Awe. Also, Divine Sense is now a part of Channel Divinity. Okay, so next we have changes to the auras and how the auras work. Okay, now there's going to only be one aura. Leveling and subclasses and things like that are going to be adding effects to your aura, but only one aura. This will make it a lot less confusing. Okay, so there's a few other changes I'd like to mention before we move on to the subclass. Okay, so basically what some of the notes that I just wanted to make is because, well, we're getting a few things here. Less tracking of uses. This is going to make, playing your Paladin a lot easier. Every Paladin gets the Find Steed spell. And it's always prepared. And number 3. Oh, and we're going to talk about steeds a little bit more later. And number 3. Oath spells. Basically, you're going to get one free use of an oath spell with basically a new spell that you can use without using up a spell slot. Okay, so let's move on to the Oath of Devotion and the changes, highlights of the changes there. The Sacred Weapon, which is under Channel Divinity, so it's an effect under it. Basically, it's filling your weapon with divine energy is now a bonus action instead of a full action. Also, in this, we're getting our first glimpse of how they're integrating the auras. Now your aura of protection is enhanced by the subclass, this subclass. Your aura of protection now protects against charmed conditions, in addition to what it was able to do before. So that's kind of how they're integrating them, so that, again, there's only going to be one aura. Your Divine Smite now grants you, or an ally, a 1d8 temporary hit points per level of the Divine Smite. And finally, the Cap ability, that's the one that you get at 14th level, Holy Nimbus. And that's going to kind of scale up with you now. Okay, I saved 2 changes to last. And the reason is because I want to end it on them. They have interesting mechanics. It's something new. Something I'm going to be thinking about. Okay, so let's get into it. There's a new version of the fine Steed spell. Okay, steeds, number 1, steeds have their own stat block. Number 2, and this is interesting, the more spell slots you expend when you cast it, the more powerful the steed is going to be. I'm really looking forward to playtesting that idea. And now the other one, which is a new version of the Find Familiar spell. Now this one is really similar to the other one, so, but again, it's got an interesting dynamic. So, Find Familiars now have their own stat block. That's number 1. Find Familiars, there's still 3 types, 1 Fey, 1 Infernal, 1 Celestial. But, depending on which one you pick, your Familiar will have a unique ability. If it's Fey, it'll get Misty Step. If it's Infernal, it's going to get Fear. If it's Celestial, it's going to get Healing. Now these are all kind of minor, and still an interesting dynamic. Okay guys, so it's going to get interesting. I'm really looking forward to playtesting all of this. And I will of course be back with you once I have had time to read everything and digest it and playtest. And I hope that you guys will join me again then, so that we'll have even more to talk about. I am going to put the link to Jeremy and Todd's video about all of this down below, so check it out. It's got more good stuff in it, and he goes into explanations of why they're doing what they're doing and stuff like that. So, thanks for joining me, and I shall see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.